Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to... Wow, got too excited. Welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is with me. This is the 500th edition of Wrestling Uncensored. We've been doing this show for a long time, talking professional wrestling each and every week with you. We were on the radio, podcasting, now on YouTube, on Facebook. If you love professional wrestling like we do, this is the show for you. It's Wrestling Uncensored. We are here talking WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, all the pro wrestling that you can handle. This is the spot. It's Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. I've been watching wrestling my entire life. I've been studying the professional wrestling business, and I've been watching Raw and Smackdown each and every week, so you don't have to. And my buddy Johnny North has been doing the same thing, 500 episodes strong. And he's also a hell of a professional wrestler, a pretty jacked dude, a good guy all around. It was his birthday last week. We love him. You love him. He's Big Johnny North, a great pro wrestler. I'll be excited to see him back in the ring when this whole thing is sorted out. Johnny North, thank you for joining us here. 500 episodes of Wrestling Uncensored.
It's a great honor. Thank you very much for having me once again. And again, I haven't been here 500 times. I think I'm close to 400-ish now, I think. But this is like not only the 500th episode, this is also like the 10-year anniversary as well, because I believe the show started in 2010, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow. It's been a long time.
A lot of history.
A lot of history of Wrestling Uncensored. It was an offshoot of Ringside Report Radio. Of course, Ringside Report Radio began as a pro wrestling show, but then we started incorporating MMA about a year or two into the show, and the more we talked MMA, the less kind of time we had for pro wrestling, and we had to kind of branch out and start a whole new show to really give wrestling the time that it deserves, and that was Wrestling Uncensored.
Well, there's a side story to that, too.
There's a side story? You have more stories, Johnny?
Well, because like you had expanded Ringside Report to like 4 hours, and you had a best of hour as well. So I was like, well, why instead of the replay, why don't you do like a wrestling show?
Yes.
And that's how it began.
Classic Johnny North giving me more work, right?
Always.
Always giving me more work. And you weren't even part of the show back then. It was Jeremy Prophet, Black Dynamite, another great pro wrestler who was the co-host at the time. And, you were giving us more work. Thank you, Johnny, for continuing to do that over 500 episodes. We will be previewing WWE Extreme Rules, the horror show, here in a minute, but it's Wrestling Uncensored episode 500. Do hit us up on that super chat. Celebrate Wrestling Uncensored 500. Support the Ringside Report Network. Keep us going. Keep us going. Do you want to see 500 more episodes? Keep us going. Support the channel. Support our sponsors. Go to manscaped.com, use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off plus free shipping on your order. Go to IPVanish. You need to secure yourself on the internet. IPVanish. VPN.ringsidereport.net. Stitcher Premium. Go to Stitcher.com/premium. Use the promo code Ringside for a free month. Support our sponsors. Hit us up on Super Chat. Keep supporting Wrestling Uncensored to keep us going for 500 more episodes coming to you. This show is supported by you entirely. Continue supporting the show so we can keep going. Big Johnny, you got more stories? You got more backstories on the history of Wrestling Uncensored? I was about to tell everybody why I called it Wrestling Uncensored, but you want to hear that story?
I think I know the story. I just remember like every 100 episodes, we kind of make it a big deal or something. Like I remember the first 100 episodes was like, wow, we actually made it this far. Like 200, that seems a little ridiculous. But then the show actually like changed a little bit around 300, because that's when I think we started doing Dave and Johnny around that time as well. We had like the Wrestling Uncensored pre-show, and then things changed into the 400s as well.
Yep, things have changed. Things have evolved. Of course, we had the big 400th episode party that I'll never forget. It was a great big party in studio. We had the champagne flowing. We had Muscles Marco in the house. AJ was there. But, of course, we had Wally flying in. Wally and Amy flying in from Ireland. Like, Ireland to Montreal to celebrate 400 episodes of Wrestling Uncensored. That let me know that the show was special for people that night. Really opened my eyes to how special the show was. Antoinette coming in from Toronto. Rob Cluse coming in from close to Quebec City. We had some other guys. Derek John was in the house, I remember. It was a good night. We partied. We had a good time. We had a bunch of people in there. And it was nice to meet a lot of the Wrestling Uncensored universe that night. It would be nice to be able to do it and do it even bigger. But, of course, with the pandemic times, I don't think it's safe to do. I didn't want to do a big party. I don't even see Johnny North for the show, you know? I'm not going to see everybody, right? Doesn't make sense. Johnny, you're used to doing the show here in the studio. I mean, I guess you're not anymore. It's been so long. It's been so many months now. You're sitting at home doing the show from home. It's a little disappointing that we can't do more for 500. So it's honestly, for me, it's bittersweet. Like, it's nice that we made it to 500, but there have been some changes along the way. And just in these times, it's hard to celebrate anything. You know, it's hard to have a big celebration. I don't know. It's disappointing. But I'm glad that we're here for you, and I'm glad that everybody does enjoy the show. And I'm glad that the show is changing and that the show, I feel, is better now than ever. So you have that. All right. No big party, but you have the best professional wrestling show, the most honest, the most real, well-researched professional wrestling show out there. We're the only guys actually watching these shows each and every week and taking notes and bringing you the real information. We're the only real recap show out there. Everybody else, you know, they watch the highlights. They pretend to watch these shows. I'm actually sitting there watching this stuff. And it was brutal this week. Brutal. I mean, I know a lot of you out there, you watch Wrestling Uncensored to get your fill on what's happening in the WWE. You rely on old Dave and old Johnny to fill you in. Well, old Dave and old Johnny are tired of watching the WWE. I know old Dave is. I'm getting old. 500 episodes of this. I'll tell you one thing. WWE needs to improve their product. People are like, why do you get so mad about pro wrestling? Because I actually have to watch this stuff every week. Because I really watch it. And it's awful. When you start a wrestling show with Dolph Ziggler cutting a promo with MVP and then Drew McIntyre comes out to say, blah, 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 blah. I want to stop watching Raw immediately. But I trudge through. I sacrifice myself for Wrestling Uncensored. And I get through a 3-hour episode of Raw. And this week was not easy. This is not easy. Right, John? I mean, how much pro wrestling have you watched because of Wrestling Uncensored that you wouldn't ordinarily watch? You'd be like, oh, they're doing this? I'm not going to watch this. I'll watch this other thing later. But you watch everything so that you know what you're talking about, so that when people are like, what's this or what's that, or does this really suck? You can say, yes, this guy really sucks. I saw him wrestle several times. He's very bad at wrestling.
Well, funny part is this week, during the first hour of Raw, I fell asleep because I was just so tired of watching it, actually. But I did go back and watch it the next day. And it's funny, too, like, by the time I was done, I'm like, man, I want to fall asleep again, and it's already the middle of the day. It's like, wow, this was a very difficult show to watch. I'm not surprised. Apparently, this was, like, the lowest drawing Raw of all time.
Oh, wow.
It really deserved it.
It was so bad. It was so bad. MVP hosts the VIP Lounge with Dolph Ziggler. They go on and on and on. And on and on and on. Drew McIntyre comes out, threatens Dolph Ziggler. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to dismantle you. I'm going to maim you. That's what he said, right? I'm going to maim you at Extreme Rules. And I'm sitting there like, I fell asleep. I did fall asleep the first time I tried watching this. It was a mistake on my part. I started watching it like at night. That was a bad move because I was like falling asleep. And then I woke up and I watched like half of the movie The Joker afterwards. We're going to turn this into Movies Uncensored. We'll just start reviewing movies. Might be actually entertaining. Because WWE tries to give us movies, but they're all bad movies. So we might as well watch good movies and just review those. At least people watch those, you know? Maybe we'll just do that instead. Movies Uncensored. Like, God damn. What is this? What are they doing? So McIntyre comes out and then he punches Dolph Ziggler after threatening him. Pretty terrible. Dolph got revenge later on. Drew was doing a promo and Dolph like attacked him a bit backstage. Like, whatever. And they're wrestling for the WWE Championship at Extreme Rules.
Is it the main event?
I mean, this thing is so bad. I don't know what's the main event. I think Asuka and Sasha is the main event. That's what I would put as the main event. Looking at this card, it's pretty bad. It's stupid and insulting in some ways. There's a swamp fight match and an eye for an eye match where the match can only be won when a competitor extracts an eye out of their opponent. What? You got to pull the other guy's eye out. That's the match. Is this pro wrestling? I don't understand.
I don't know what to tell you on this one. This one's going to be very weird, and I mean, I'm excited to see what they're going to pull off here, but I'm also fearful in a sense because I think it might be awful.
Yeah, man. This is going to suck. We're doing a watch-along, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday night. Watch Extreme Rules Horror Show with us. This could be the death of the WWE. This could be it. This could be when we say, okay, nail in the coffin, WWE's over. This could be like the pay-per-view where you look back and say, you know, it was going really bad, but the low point was when they just did that horror show, that swamp fight match. Remember that? This could be an all-time terrible, terrible pay-per-view. I can't believe what this is. So Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler, they were supposed to announce a stipulation, but John, you thought it was going to happen on Raw. I told you it was going to be a mystery stipulation that they're going to leave for the pay-per-view, and that's actually what's happening because the WWE is a stupid wrestling company. They're barely a wrestling company. They're a bad entertainment company. They produce bad entertainment that kind of revolves around wrestling sometimes. Once in a while, they let AJ Styles and Matt Riddle have a kick-ass match for the Intercontinental Championship in the main event of Smackdown. That was great. AJ won. He won with a nice pin, reversed Riddle's twister. Very nice. Really nice. Once in a while, that happens. The good stuff is few and far between. Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler in a mystery stipulation match for the WWE title. What's it going to be?
It's tough. I would think maybe a steel cage match. Didn't they wrestle in a steel cage match before? And didn't Ziggler beat McIntyre in the steel cage match?
Huh? You tell me. You're the historian.
I know they wrestled in that match. I forget who won that match, but maybe it's going to be that. I mean, they kind of teased the steel cage on SmackDown, so maybe we're going to get a steel cage match.
Yeah, that was weird. Hold on. What we got to stop with the SmackDown thing. We got to explain what you're talking about. So Cesaro beat Big E on SmackDown, which means that he and Shinsuke get to pick the stipulation against New Day. Last week they put two of three New Days, but the two active members of New Day, because Woods is still hurt, through a table. Right? They put Big E and Kofi through a table.
Right.
This week, Cesaro wins a match against Big E to pick the stipulation for their match at Extreme Rules. Cesaro's like, is it going to be a steel cage or is it going to be a tables match? Is it going to be a steel cage? Is it going to be a tables match? Kind of like those were the only two options. Like, I don't understand. You get to pick the stipulation. Rey Mysterio picked eye for an eye, which, like, I didn't know that was an option. But Cesaro, for some reason, has two traditional options for an Extreme Rules style match. Steel cage or tables match. And he picks tables match, obviously. But it kind of feels like, well, the steel cage is still on the table, so they'll give it to Dolph and Drew. Like, what was that even? It was... Why was Cesaro like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that, like he had been given the two options and he got to choose? But that was never really discussed, right? But in his promo, didn't it kind of feel like that's what he was saying? Like, I've been given these two options and I'll pick one or the other?
It's kind of what I felt like in the sense where it's like these are the only options available, and
Yeah.
he went with Table because Table was obvious because they've been feuding with tables, so that makes sense. So I'm thinking that's what we're probably going to see.
Well, like, if it's Extreme Rules and you get to pick the stipulation, couldn't Dolph Ziggler just pick, like, Inferno match?
Well, you got to think a match that's to his advantage. I can't think of a lot of matches that would give Dolph the advantage over Drew.
Why would Steel Cage be to Dolph's advantage? Because he beat Drew in one? Or did he beat him?
He's
faster. Is that the deal? Because he's faster. Because he can climb better? He's a better climber.
That's all I got.
Ugh. So you're expecting a steel cage. I kind of agree with you. I don't really care. I think this match is going to suck no matter what you do with it. I'd like an Inferno match so they can both light on fire and we don't have to see them for a while because they'll be suffering from burns because they won't have the Kane burn suit where he doesn't get burned. How about
that? I guess the worst part could be if this is like a movie match. Like he picks some weird stipulation and this just ends up to be another movie kind of thing. That would be the worst case scenario.
They already filmed the Wyatt swamp fight. That's already a movie match. You can't have more than one on these things. Why do you have to have a movie match every pay-per-view? What?
The bar fight's a movie match, is it not?
Oh, is that happening? That's not officially on this card. Not the card I have.
When is that happening? Because didn't they say it on SmackDown that it's happening?
I don't know. Is it happening at Extreme Rules, the Jeff Hardy Sheamus bar fight?
Well, if it's not announced for pay-per-view, maybe they're saving it for SmackDown because they, for some reason, they save these matches for TV now. Like they're saving Randy and Big Show for Raw.
Yeah, I think that match may be not on the pay-per-view because the card I have here is Drew versus Dolph, Asuka versus Sasha in a singles match, like no stipulation for some reason. It's Extreme Rules. Everybody has to have a stipulation except the women's matches. No stipulation for them. Just like straight up matches. Bayley versus Nikki Cross in a match. The greatest wrestling match of all time. Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt in the Swamp Fight. Ray versus Seth in Eye for an Eye. Apollo Crews versus MVP for the U.S. title, just singles match. And then the tables match, New Day versus Cesaro and Shinsuke. That's what I have for Extreme Rules. Those are the 7 matches. They could always add the Jeff versus Sheamus bar fight, though, right? They could always just throw that on there and be like, oh, this was always on the card, pal. Didn't you know? Haven't you been paying attention? It's like, yeah, Vince, I have been paying attention. You haven't been paying attention. Is anybody paying attention? Fuck.
Well, we've seen this, though, in the past, though, where not every match on Extreme Rules has a stipulation. Most matches do, and I'm kind of glad we actually see that because there's a reason for a theme pay-per-view. But not every match needs a stipulation, and especially the title matches. I mean, the title's on the line. That's all you need.
Yeah, I guess so. But, it's weird that most of the men's matches have stipulations, but then the 2 women's matches just kind of normal matches. The only other
remember last time.
Yeah, but the only other normal match on this card is the Apollo Crews MVP, which is whatever. Might even be on the pre-show.
Remember that Alexa Bliss Bayley Extreme Rules match? That's one of the worst matches in WWE history. Maybe they shouldn't do matches like that ever again.
Shouldn't Dolph versus Drew be Extreme Rules or a no holds barred or a no DQ? They don't have one of these matches that's technically just a straight up no DQ false count anywhere Extreme Rules match. I guess the Ray versus Seth is going to be pretty extreme.
They could just say street fight, but I mean, look at the situation they have now. I mean, you're kind of close in this little area right now, and besides brawling backstage, what can you really do?
I don't know. I don't know. Drew retains, though, right? 100%. There's no way Dolph Ziggler becomes a new WWE champion here. Even though, like, why not? It's not like Drew's good as a champion right now. I'm not entertained.
Well, in terms of our predictions, it's going to be rare to see us go against each other on this one because I think a lot of this is very obvious.
Yeah, I think so too. Although, I don't know. There might be a couple that I'm wondering about. Okay.
For me, there's one.
Raw this week was like not really. Okay, which one?
It would be Bayley and Nikki Cross.
Oh yeah. See, I'm wondering. I'm not wondering about that at all. I think Bayley wins for sure.
I have doubt now after SmackDown.
I think we may have some disagreements here, John, because I think Bayley beats Nikki. I think Sasha beats Asuka.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I'm wondering about the Swamp Fight. Is it for the Universal title?
No.
What?
It's not a title match. It's not a real wrestling match. It's just a fight. It's just a brawl.
But he's the Universal Champion.
But it's not an official WWE match in a sense.
What the fuck are we watching here, man? What is this? He's the Universal Champion, but he's not defending his title in this big match on pay-per-view. The Wyatt Swamp Fight. So Bray Wyatt's for sure winning, right? It's called the Wyatt Swamp Fight. I was kind of wondering because I was like, well, Bray's not going to win because, like, it's for the title. They're not going to give him the title here in this thing. But now that it's non-title and it's a Wyatt Swamp Fight, I'm not wondering about that match anymore. Case closed. Bray's winning that shit easily. What?
Yeah, but winning, like, he's not going to pin Braun or anything. You know, he's not going to make him submit.
He'll drown him in swamp waters and kill him, and then Braun will be back next Friday night on SmackDown.
Yeah, something like that.
My son thinks it's called Smackdown, which I think is better. Smackdown? I'm taking you to Smackdown. Yeah, he pronounces it Smackdown. Anyways, god damn, this is bad. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in a Wyatt Swamp Fight. Like, okay, Braun's gonna win. Braun was particularly bad on SmackDown this week. He cut a promo. Bray Wyatt cut a promo about the origins of Braun Strowman and the swamp and all of that. It was pretty terrible, old-timey Wyatt style. And then Braun Strowman cut a pre-match promo and a post-match promo on Bray Wyatt, both terrible. And then Braun Strowman just beat the shit out of John Morrison. I felt bad for Morrison. They brought out the stretcher and everything for Morrison after the match. I was like, yeah, that looked rough. Braun just squashed John Morrison there. I mean, John, you'd take that beating, but like, goddamn, you know what I mean? That's not fun. That's not a fun day at the office for John Morrison, is it? You're a wrestler. Tell me. Are you enjoying that? Are you going in the ring like, this is going to be great? Or are you like, shit?
Well, you take those beatings. It's going to happen sometimes. It doesn't make a lot of sense because you have a match where it was The Miz and Morrison against Strowman. So, of course, like, if it's a one-on-one match, like, something like that would happen. That makes a lot of sense, but why would they ever book that in the first place? Because it's such a lopsided fight. Yeah.
They booked him on pay-per-view 2-on-1, and Braun destroyed them. So now without The Miz, how do you believe in it, right? How do you believe in John Morrison? It's stupid. It was a waste of time.
Well, that's why it's just going to be a squash, but, I mean, who books that? That's not fun to watch.
The WWE books that, John. That's what they do. It's not fun to watch. That should be the WWE slogan. It's not fun to watch. WWE, pal. Like, what is going on? You have a champion who's having a swamp fight, not defending his title, and the other top champion is wrestling Dolph Ziggler in some kind of match that you won't find out about until the pay-per-view actually starts. Or maybe the match actually starts. Who knows? I mean, what is... And they're not good champions either. Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre. Since WrestleMania, the WWE... Wow. I feel like it's getting worse somehow. What is going on?
Well, it depends how you look at it. I mean, we got these wrestler fans now, so the atmosphere's better, in my opinion. And in some cases, a lot of wrestlers have really upped their game in a sense. I mean, you've seen the emergence of Sasha and Bayley as a team. They've kind of almost taken over WWE completely. So if you're a fan of them, you're loving this. Unfortunately, we've seen the emergence of Drew McIntyre, and he's kind of almost killed the show almost on Raw.
Him and Seth killing the business.
I don't know if Seth's really killing it so much. I mean, you need a jerk. You need a jerk. Like, you need a heel. And he's a good heel.
Do his promos not put you to sleep, though?
No, what doesn't put me to sleep on Raw? But his wrestling doesn't put me to sleep.
No, he had a good little match there with Kevin Owens. Kevin won with a stunner. I like Kevin's line there where he had an eye patch for Seth because he's going to lose his eye to Mysterio. And he says, the eye patch was given to me by a pirate friend of mine, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, which is a very nice reference, of course, referencing Pierre-Carl Ouellet, who's a fellow Quebec wrestler who played Jean-Pierre Lafitte the Pirate back in the WWE and also has one eye as a shoot, right? PCO has one eye? Is that for real?
Yeah, that's legit. I've seen it up close and personal. Yes, it's definitely true, without question. It's also funny that he could only call him that. He can't call him PCO because that wasn't a WWE thing, right? So they got to keep it within WWE terminology.
They could call him Pierre-Carl Ouellet. That's who he was with the Quebecers.
Yeah, a lot of people don't remember that so much. They remember more the gimmick.
I love
and
the
that was
Quebecers,
Quebecer
man.
Pierre.
Like, as a young Quebecer, when the Quebecers were, doing their thing and WWF Tag Team Champions, I was like, I knew they were heels, but I didn't care. I was like, yeah, the Quebecers. They were representing us, They were the Quebecers, Jacques and Pierre, and they called them the Quebecers. It's kind of crazy how big they were, and they were called the Quebecers. You don't see anything like that now. Like, imagine if Kevin and Sammy came in as the Quebecers. Although the 3.0, right? They're kind of like the Quebec, like the new Quebecers in NXT, right? Matt Martel and the other guy, right? They got the Quebec, they got the fleur de lis on their trunks. They're kind of doing a Quebec gimmick because his name isn't really Martel, but they gave him Martel to kind of, make you think of Rick Martel, right? What do they call the other guy? Parker?
I think it's Chase Parker, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They gave them the look, but they do nothing that makes them Quebec. I don't think they do any French promos or anything, so...
No.
And there's no Quebec rule matches yet, as far as I know.
No. But just the fact that they had the Quebecers, as kids, that was crazy. They were champions, too. They weren't
cool.
like jabronis. They were, big. They were the best.
Well, that's because that's the only way Jacques would make it work, because, if Jacques wasn't on top, that wasn't going to happen. Jacques was very good at that.
Okay. Well, I thought that they were awesome, and PCO was amazing. Even back then. I was early 90s, and he's still kicking ass. So I like that reference there from Kevin Owens, kind of a reference to, guys that paved the way for him, especially PCO. And I know Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, he trained with Jacques Rougeau too, right? But he doesn't like Jacques that much. You trained with him and Jacques, right? At Jacques' school, you were there with Kevin Steen, right?
Well, with Kevin, with Jacques, with Carl, I know them all. All great guys. Just they all don't like each other now. Well, except no, Kevin and Carl get along pretty good.
Kevin and Carl are cool, but Carl is not cool with Jacques, and Jacques is not cool with Carl, and Jacques is not cool with Kevin, and Kevin's not cool with Jacques. That's the deal. Nobody's cool with Jacques, basically.
It's wrestling, not everyone gets along with each other.
Believe
it or not.
Are Jacques and Raymond cool now? Are they okay?
That's a great question. Last I heard, no. but hopefully they've fixed everything up now. Hopefully,
The
because Ray went
Fabulous.
back to WWE and Jacques
Yeah,
didn't. So
that's true. Ray, I think, still does commentary for WWE on the French side, doesn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
Ray's a good
Raymond
guy.
Rougeau. Yeah, I like Ray
You talked to
Rougeau.
Ray.
Yeah, he's been on the show before. You know what's crazy is that in all the years I've talked to Hogan, I've talked to Shawn Michaels, I've talked to Bret Hart, I've talked to Mick Foley, I've talked to Ray Rougeau, I've talked to Tony Atlas, but I've never talked to Jacques Rougeau. I don't think I've ever even met Jacques Rougeau. Isn't that weird? Like, I've met and talked to everybody. I've never interviewed Jacques Rougeau. You would think it would have come up in all the years. Wrestling Uncensored, 500 episodes. Ringside Report, been around since 2006. I've never had Jacques Rougeau on the show. Never, ever. It's weird because I've had, like, almost everybody else in the world. Not Jacques. Maybe one day.
It'd be very hard to pull off now. Josh retired. He's trying to stay away from wrestling now, I think, which is good. I think he's done his thing wrestling, and it's great for him.
What am I going to talk about with Jacques, really? I really got not much to say. There's not much I have to bother Jacques about, you know? I mean, I've heard all the Jacques Rougeau stories. I know what he's about. What am I going to talk about? Him knocking out Dynamite Kid? Story's been told a million times.
Talk about Dino Bravo again, if you want. Like I thought Jacques was great in that Dino Bravo Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Kevin Owens beat Seth Rollins with a Stone Cold Stunner and some distractions from Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and Aleister Black. Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy.
Win.
Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of help there, but it's Seth Rollins. You got to keep Seth strong. Nobody looks too bad here. You know, everybody's got to stay looking somewhat strong, especially a guy like Seth if he's going to take a loss on Raw. Aleister Black. But again here, like with Kevin and Seth, I don't care to see them wrestle anymore. They've been there. They've done that. They had their match at WrestleMania. It's over. This is just, kind of filler until Ray and Seth get to the pay-per-view. I didn't care to see this match. Like, it was okay, but I didn't care about it. And then before they waste our time with Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy wrestling around for a while, and then it just ends by disqualification. Aleister Black hits a black mass kick, and then Seth pulls Buddy out of the ring when he's about to lose the match, and the ref calls for the bell. It's like, why did I just watch that match for 10 minutes? Why are you wasting my time? They do this so much. We sit around. You know that you're not going to have anything conclusive at the end of this match. It's going to be okay at best, but nothing really is going to happen. And then at the end of it, there's going to be some kind of screwy finish that'll just lead to another match that doesn't really mean anything. And then that'll be the end of the segment because they're just filling time. There's so many matches that they do in WWE now where it's just like, you come out there and there's going to be like a DQ or something, and then there's no point in watching the match because there's no finish. Stop giving me matches without any kind of finish. Aleister Black could have beat Buddy Murphy there. What's the problem? Just pin him. Who cares? It's Buddy Murphy. He's Seth Rollins' jabroni boy. Seth lost his other jabroni boy. Where's Austin Theory? He's got coronavirus? What happened to that guy? Where's he at?
People disappear and there's no answers, so you just hope they're okay, and that's pretty much it.
Well,
I think the main
it's
problem...
one of two things, right? It's one of two things, Big Johnny. They've told people that if you have coronavirus, you shut up about it. You don't tell anybody. So he could have coronavirus, okay? Or he tested positive on the wellness deal and they're quietly suspending him. Or maybe one of three things. Or he's hurt and we just don't know about it, which is possible because sometimes they keep injuries kind of quiet. But usually injury news kind of spills out. I haven't heard anything about Austin Theory or where he is. So I'm thinking it's either coronavirus or wellness policy. Those are my guesses, okay? Unsubstantiated, just educated guesses from one of the most educated guessers out there, brother.
The only thing about the wellness, they're kind of open about that now. They stated, like, Andrade got suspended, right? I think around WrestleMania time, so they're pretty open about that. I think more COVID than anything.
So where's Austin Theory? He's got coronavirus or what?
Well, wherever he is, he's not really important towards the storylines right now.
No.
I mean, Seth Rollins still functions well without him. It's still, everything works. The problem is, though, the feuds are getting stale. The matches are getting repetitive, so they got to switch things up. They got to maybe switch Drew McIntyre to a heel or something, just so you can change the way the direction's going here. Because, like, it's not fun to watch this stuff right now. The feuds aren't great.
Austin Theory has not tweeted since June 23rd. Not a single word from him. And he was a frequent tweeter. I'm looking at his Twitter page right now. He was tweeting pretty regularly all of June. And then all of a sudden, June 23rd stops.
Wasn't there also accusations against him too, though?
Really? Was there? Uh-oh. Is it
I'm
that?
not 100% sure. But again, I would think more of that than the wellness policy.
Well, let's just say that Austin Theory's gone, and it's seriously mysterious. It's more mysterious than Rey Mysterio and the eye for an eye match, cabron.
Is this the end of Rey Mysterio, by the way? Because like he has no more contract now. So is this the way they write him off?
For sure, he's getting his eyeball ripped out here, right? Doesn't he already have one eyeball, like, semi-ripped out? Aren't they just going to finish the job? Isn't that the gimmick? Like, Ray's coming in, he's still kind of got only one eye because Seth poked his eye on the ring steps like a month ago? That's why they're having this match.
Well, it's easier to hide, like, an eyeball in his mask or something where you just, like, shove it in there and then it can just, like, pop out or something, the fake eye. Yeah, that could easily happen, I think, with Ray more than Seth.
Cool. So the match is going to end when Seth does something and gouges out Ray's eye, and they're going to have some sort of fake eyeball, and it's going to look bad. And there's going to be some fake blood, and Ray's going to be screaming like this. That's the sound Rey Mysterio makes when he's screaming. And, yeah. That'll be that. Seth will win. It will be stupid. This is stupid. They should just change this to Extreme Rules, the horrible show. Because it's going to be horrible.
I don't know about you, but I'm kind of hoping Dominic betrays Ray. Because I think that would be fantastic to see. Like, Dominic as a heel, like, he betrayed his father and made him lose his eye. Like, destroyed him as a person. I think that would be fantastic if Dominic started.
Dominic, you son of a bitch. You better not do that. That would be crazy. People would be mad. Dominic, you bastard. I never loved you, son. Booyaka, 619 to the face. Maybe you do that. Maybe you do that next. Ray versus Dominic. Maybe, man. Maybe. I think this is all fucking stupid is what I think. I think this match is dumb. I think the story is dumb. I think the whole road to get here has been dumb. It's been boring as hell with Seth Rollins doing all the talking. And Ray's just like, there, like, trying to do his best. But, like, fucking feuding over an eyeball, man. And, like, Dominic, they're trying to incorporate Dominic into this thing. They're trying to make him something. I don't know. I don't see how that works that well. I think Seth and Ray could have a good match because they're good wrestlers, but this stipulation is just a joke. Give me a ladder match between these two, I'd be way more excited. Put an eyeball on a ladder, Have them both lose their eye before the pay-per-view, and then there's like an eyeball where it's like, if you get the eyeball, you get to have your eyeball paid for by WWE, and they will replace your eyeball. But if you don't get the eyeball, well then, you have to pay for it yourself, or you just have one eye for the rest of your life. So it's an eyeball suspended above the ring. It's a ladder match. Ray and Seth both have eye patches on, and the winner gets to have eyeball replacement surgery paid for by Vince McMahon. That is the match I want to see. That is what I would prefer. Eyeball suspended above the ring. Okay? I mean, once we're going crazy, let's go full crazy.
Well, you taken the term horror show to a whole new level with that kind of idea, but all right.
Yeah.
That's definitely extreme in a sense, but probably too extreme for PG WWE, I think.
The goal of the match is to rip your opponent's eyeball out. That's
Can't
pretty
wait for the toys
extreme.
for this.
That's pretty extreme. Yeah, I hope they don't make toys of this. This is horrific. And it's dumb because, like, you know nobody's really going to get their eyeball ripped out. You know? A tables match. Somebody's going through a table. I believe that. That's going to happen.
Hopefully two.
Right. It's going to tag team tables. 2 guys are going through maybe 2 tables. That's going to happen. Eye for an eye match. It's going to be a fake eyeball. Fake. No one wants to hear that fake word around pro wrestling, but the WWE keeps pushing you to it. Fake. Fake ass bullshit. Randy Orton beat R-Truth with an RKO. Not really a match. That happened on Raw. Randy threatening to punt Truth. Big Show came out to stop him. Randy challenges Show to an unsanctioned match next week on Raw. Show accepts, so Randy and Show not working the pay-per-view. They have their big match scheduled for Raw. Unsanctioned. Randy versus Show. It could be all right. Might be better than anything on this pay-per-view, quite honestly. Like AJ Styles isn't on this pay-per-view. Pay-per-view kind of sucks. A lot of the people that are kind of interesting on Raw or SmackDown are not even on this thing. Like Randy Orton, I'll be honest, Raw being this bad, he's one of the high points. And this is me talking.
It's amazing how far we've come in 500 episodes.
But he is. His promo sucked, though. That long promo where he's like talking. I was like, I watched a couple minutes of it, then I was like, skip. I couldn't finish it. I skipped it, okay? I'm sick of it.
Flair had a good promo.
Yeah, Flair was good. Flair and Big Show you're talking about backstage?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. I watched that because I'm like, oh, Flair, he can cut a promo. They keep letting people talk that can't talk. When I see Ric Flair and he's there, it's like, well, I don't know if this is really safe for old age, but hey, he can talk, so I'm going to watch it. Where's his daughter?
Her breast was leaking, so I guess she's getting surgery for that again.
Again?
Yeah, again.
This girl's got a lot of titty problems. What is happening with Charlotte Flair?
Man.
By God.
It happened to China too, if I'm not mistaken. China had to get multiple breast surgeries.
That's a lot of surgeries for Charlotte's boobs. And they are formidable. I mean, after the last surgery, she came out looking superhuman. She looks really cool. I don't know. It's like, it's quite a look, Charlotte Flair, you know? That's too bad that they're causing her problems. But, yeah, I guess that's what happens when you put things into your body sometimes. They leak. But this is happening a lot to her, right? I mean, you're wrestling on them, too. You're taking front bumps on them. Can't be good for them. I don't know, man. I don't know how breast implants work. I don't know the science of it. I'm clearly not a doctor. I just see Charlotte Flair, and I'm like, where's Charlotte Flair? I think she looks cool. I think they enhance her look, you know, for sure. She looks like a superstar. She looks like a superhero, you know? Charlotte Flair looks like a superhero. Like, superhuman. Unnaturally, you know? But, like, cool. I like the way she looks, you know? It's like I like the way John Cena looks. Do people really look like John Cena in everyday life normally? Hell no. But he looks cool, you know? Brian Cage looks cool. Does he look normal? No. No. He looks abnormal, right? You know what I'm saying, John? Like, Charlotte looks cool. She doesn't look like a normal person. Like, if you saw Charlotte Flair walking down the street, you'd be like, who is that? What is she, some sort of wrestler or something? What's going on there? My God. I'm a big fan of Charlotte. I hope none of this comes off negative on Charlotte. I think she's great. I just, like, I'm surprised that her boobs cause her so much problems, man. Like, another surgery for breast issues? 'Cause last time it was like a leakage issue, right? Or I know you got to get them replaced every few years, but she's having struggles with them. That's not good. It could be dangerous, too, for her health. So hopefully this is the last surgery she has to get for a while about that.
Well, I believe with this surgery, because it's going to be a longer downtime, I guess maybe this will make it less likely that she'll have problems in the future. So hopefully that works out for her.
Yeah, I don't know how these things work, though, right? I don't know,
Yeah, I've never had it, so I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, right, that's it. I don't know too much about breast implants. Talking about them kind of makes me uncomfortable, I don't know what to say about them. Like, am I supposed to say that they're cool? Am I supposed to say that they're not cool? I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I think Charlotte looks good with them. Good for Charlotte.
Choice.
Yeah, but it enhances her look, Like, you see Charlotte in NXT, and then you see Charlotte now. Like, obviously she's had, like, some work done on her body. Maybe face a little bit, too. I don't know. Maybe it's makeup. I don't know. Like, I can't tell either. I'm not too good with that stuff. I'm like, oh, does she have a new nose? And it's like, no, it's contouring of makeup. And I'm like, oh, yeah? I don't know. I don't know the difference. I can't tell because I don't do that stuff because I'm a man who doesn't wear makeup. So, I don't know, man. What am I talking about?
Well, you're talking about you hope Charlotte will be okay going forward.
That's right. We wish her well in her future endeavors. Rest in peace, Austin Theory. We'll miss you.
Rest. I hope he'll come back.
In peace.
I think they had the bonus episode this Sunday, if not mistaken, right? For the last ride.
There's a new episode?
There's like a bonus
of the
thing,
last ride.
Maybe it won't be the last ride.
It's never the last ride. Johnny North, the bell tolls for you.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
At WrestleMania 48, I'll be 85 years old, and I'm coming to take your soul. You're not gonna last more than 60 seconds with me.
Yeah, getting buried alive's fun.
I'll also die at the match, because I'll be 89 years old.
Double death's good.
Rest in peace, Undertaker. We'll miss you. All right, back to Extreme Rules and whatever the fuck is going on here. Undertaker gonna show up at this thing? Take somebody's soul.
I don't think so. It would have been nice if Brock showed up, but I guess we're not getting Brock anymore, too. They were supposed to have Brock for the next pay-per-view, but nope, not anymore.
That's my Brock Lesnar impression. When Brock gets excited?
Brock. Yeah, but Brock doesn't do that anymore. Like, Brock barely gets excited anymore.
Yeah, because Brock doesn't give a shit because he's just there to collect a paycheck because he's not challenged or impressed by anybody. Nor should he be. He's Brock Lesnar. You have to lose to Drew McIntyre. And before that, they had him lose to Seth Rollins. Like, come on. Wow, what's he getting excited for? So I think Asuka's going to lose to Sasha Banks. I think Sasha Banks and Bayley are the best thing going in WWE. They're the only people I actually like in WWE, and I watch and I enjoy. They're the only people on both shows. They're killing it. They're beating everybody. They beat the Kabuki Warriors in the main event of Raw. They beat Nikki Cross and Asuka on Smackdown, even though Bayley had her foot on the ropes for the win. Johnny, you think that means that she's going to lose to Nikki Cross on Sunday? She's not going to lose to Nikki Cross at the horror show because Bayley is going to take Nikki Cross straight to hell.
Well, we'll see about that. I mean, you think they're going to win all the championships. I find that very hard to believe, but they're both going to win. I think they're both going to lose, but they're still going to be tag team champions, so they're still champions. They're still going to be on both shows anyways. They don't really lose in a sense.
They're going to win. They're going to win all the gold. Bayley, those belts. Sasha, those straps. all the belts, all the gold for Bayley and Sasha. They're the only people worth caring about. You really going to give Nikki Cross the SmackDown Women's title? I mean, she's cool. I like Nikki Cross. I think she's a hell of a wrestler. I just think Bayley and Sasha are so hot right now. You just go with it. I know that they're tag team champions and they'll still be something, but like, give them everything for a bit. Give them everything. You gave Becky everything, and they are the new Becky. Together, they have replaced Becky. And then some. I think they're more entertaining now than Becky was for the last bit of her run. As far as promos, more entertaining than Becky was. Towards the end there, the Shayna stuff, like, meh. Bayley and Sasha are kicking ass. Give them everything. Have Sasha beat Asuka. Have Bayley beat Nikki Cross. And they walk out with all the gold, sucker. They're coming for all the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we're coming for you.
And that's it, huh?
That's right. I want all the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, I'm coming for you. I have no further words. What, you think I'm going to say these things, Sean? You're trying to sucker me into getting in trouble here on the internet? I don't say that word. What the hell's the matter with you? Fucking racist?
Some people say if it's a quote, it's fine, right?
No. I don't agree with that. I'm not saying that. I don't say that. It's terrible. Jesus. Shayna came back. Speaking of Shayna, she was back. She almost beat R-Truth for the 24/7 title. I thought she was going to. I kind of wanted her to. Truth and Tozawa and Ninjas were in the ring for a match, and then Shayna came out, beat up a bunch of ninjas. Tozawa ran away. Shayna's like, I'm reality. I'm going to take everybody out. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, the little promo. I wanted her to beat R-Truth for the 24/7 title there, but I guess Shayna couldn't beat R-Truth because Randy still had to wrestle a match with Truth. Truth and Tozawa, by the way, were out for a match before Truth's scheduled match with Randy Orton. Like, Truth was booked heavy on this show. A lot of R-Truth. I like that R-Truth thought that Ric Flair was going to wrestle him because he said Ric Flair challenged me to the match, so it must be against Ric Flair. And it's like, no. I think it was like Cedric Alexander trying to explain to him that actually he's wrestling Randy Orton. He's like, no. Ric Flair challenged me, so I'm wrestling Ric Flair. I'll be all right. It's like, no, you're wrestling Randy. He challenged you to face Randy. And Truth was like, oh, shit. This sucks, right? That was good. I like that. Truth is great, man. Truth is amazing. I want to show you something that I found the other day. Look at this, okay? Show you how awesome our Truth is here for a second. See this? It's a WWF magazine, okay? From March. Watch your back, right? Look at that. That's The Rock with Stone Cold behind him. This is when wrestling was good, okay? March 2001.
WWF.
WWF and wrestling was good. March 2001. Look at this. Picture of Trish Stratus in here. Old school Trish. You know, this is good. This is good shit, pal, as they say. And I was flipping through it. Look at this. Look how old this is. TNN. Just Bring It. Look at that. Look at that. The Rock.
TNN wasn't great.
Old school Rock. I'm just trying to show you how old school this is. So you see how crazy this is when you see this. Look at this man in the WWF magazine circa March 2001. You see who that is? That's K Quick. That's K Quick, a.k.a. Ron Killings, a.k.a. Ron the Truth Killings, a.k.a. R-Truth. 2001, March 2001, he's in the WWF. He's still there today. I mean, he was in and out. He left for a bit, but his current run has been very long. And he looks the same as he did in March of 2001. I was flipping through that magazine. I saw Truth. I was like, jeez, this guy hasn't aged. He's still in the company. You flip through that magazine, half the people are dead. The other half are like millionaires, all retired, you know? Shows you, man, risk and reward, you know? High risk, high reward. A lot of those guys in that era, dead. A lot of the others, super rich, chilling now. You could be The Rock, you could be The Undertaker, or you could be somebody else who didn't make it. But R-Truth is still working. Unbelievable. What a guy. What a talent. Hall of Famer. Super legendary. All respect to Ron Truth. Lost to Randy. I mean, he is what he is now, you know? But it's just amazing how long he's been wrestling for and how good he still looks. He's almost 50.
If I'm mistaken, he's what, now a 37-time 24/7 champion? I mean, that's the most ever championship, reigns that anyone's ever going to have, actually, I think, ever. Like, no one's ever going to touch that. That's pretty awesome, they gave him.
I guess. But it's a 24/7 title, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think it really matters. Okay, Extreme Rules here. What did we do? We did Drew and Dolph. We both have Drew winning easily. Asuka and Sasha. I have Sasha. You have Asuka?
Yes.
Bayla and Naka Cross. I've got Bayla. You've got Naka Cross.
Yeah, like Nick Cross really sold me on this. The fact that she's all devastated about this and feels like her confidence is really shot. They're really selling it to me that she's gonna win.
Wah, poor Nikki Cross. I don't care about Nikki Cross and her whining.
I thought you actually liked Nikki Cross. What happened?
I do, but this gimmick is like she's weak. She's like Alexa Bliss's little jabroni girl. She's like always crying that she can't win and she doesn't have confidence and like blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Shut up. Be crazy. I like the crazy Nikki Cross. I don't like the crybaby like, oh, Alexa, prop me up. I'm not good enough, Nikki Cross. I thought that was weak. I don't like that shit. Nikki Cross is a badass, man. She can wrestle. I don't want to see her being Alexa Bliss's little bitch, Come on.
Well, main thing I look at, who is going to be Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship? She's beating everybody, right? So, if it's not Nikki, then who?
Nobody. Keep her champion.
You can believe that, but it's not going to happen. I think eventually she's going to lose.
Okay. Naomi. Build up Naomi over the next 6 months and get her ready.
You're off to a terrible start after this week.
Yeah, she lost to Lacey Evans. I like the finish of that match, though. I'll say this. I didn't think the match was great, but the finish was real good. Lacey tied up Naomi's hair in the ropes, and then when Naomi was untying her hair and the ref was kind of helping her, when Naomi turns around, boom, Lacey hits her with that punch that she does, the woman's right, and then she pins Naomi 1, 2, 3. I like the finish, kind of tricking her, kind of doing some underhanded tactics to lead into your finisher. It was a unique finish. You don't see that very often where a wrestler's hair is tied into the ropes and then they get it untied, they get distracted, they turn around, boom, they fall into the finish.
Yeah, it was good, and it just shows you that they're pushing Lacey to be a heel now, and they're going to need that when they have a face champion like Nikki Cross. So it's good.
Ah, I see. Thinking a few steps ahead. You might be right, John. You might be right. I could see Nikki winning it. Bayley's been champion for a hell of a long time. I just think you go all the way with Bayley and Sasha. Give them everything for a short period of time. Maybe have Nikki Cross beat Bayley at the next pay-per-view or on SmackDown in a month or two. But I would give them everything just for a bit, just so you can take those pictures, just so you can have those bragging rights, just so you can have that act running as like the most established team ever, right? There's never been women's tag team champions that are also the Raw and SmackDown champions at the same time. It would really solidify Bayley and Sasha as like maybe the greatest tag team in the history of women's wrestling. And that I think would be big, and I think you need to do that. So I would give them everything now just to kind of have them there as like, okay, no one's ever done this. And no one will probably ever do this again. And, of course, Sasha and Bayley are the ones to do it, and they deserve to be the ones to do it because they're pioneers of the business. Talked about 5 years of the women's evolution there on SmackDown. Wouldn't be the women's evolution without Bayley and Sasha. So, in my opinion, they are the greatest women's tag team of all time. Has been a very rich history of women's tag team wrestling, but looking at the history, I think Bayley and Sasha are the best ever. And they're proving it on Raw and on SmackDown. Give them everything. They're the only people that are actually entertaining. During this pandemic time, they're the only act that's actually thrived and become better. Who else has been improved since we went to no crowds? Who else has been better and carrying the shows more than Bayley and Sasha?
I think to a certain point you could have said Daniel Bryan until Daniel Bryan decided to vanish in the trees for whatever reason.
You know why. You know why. Don't disrespect Daniel Bryan.
They haven't said why.
I mean, come on. WWE loves to promote how much the Bellas are pregnant right now. Nikki and Brie are both pregnant. Brie is about to have a kid. I don't think she has the kid yet, but they're expecting their second child. Daniel Bryan and his wife, Brie Bella, are expecting a child very soon, and that's why Daniel Bryan is not in Florida, because the coronavirus is real, and he wants to be with his wife during her final, I guess, couple of months of pregnancy. I don't know how long he's been away, but he's been away for a long time. He actually has made quite a sacrifice. He could have said, I'm staying home. I'm not wrestling at all. He was there during the pandemic times. He just went home when the pregnancy got a little bit later, but he wasn't around. He was in Florida for a good chunk of her pregnancy during a pandemic. Daniel Bryan's given a lot to the WWE during this time. So I will not let you disparage the good name of Daniel Bryan, because he is a good man. He is a respectable man. He's an honorable man. And he's a guy you can all look to as a true babyface, as a true world's champion. If anybody's going to take the Intercontinental Championship from AJ Styles, it should be a true, honorable family man, a good man like Daniel Bryan, and not some cheating, lying guy like Matt Riddle. I said it. Daniel Bryan is better than Matt Riddle in every single way, and he's also better than AJ Styles in every single way, because he knows the earth is round. Daniel Bryan is the planet's champion. Daniel Bryan is the champion that we need. Daniel Bryan is still my champion. He's still WWE champion as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Bryan is still the best thing going in professional wrestling today, whether he's on the show or not. You know the reason you're seeing Daniel Bryan cut promos from the trees in his backyard? Because the WWE knows that Daniel Bryan needs to be on SmackDown, because Daniel Bryan is the greatest living wrestler, and he's the most respected man in the business today. Show some goddamn respect for Daniel Bryan. Put some respect on his name. Johnny North, how dare you? How dare you, sir?
Well, I'm just stating that, when he left, it's interesting the last time you saw him. So I wonder about that.
What are you wondering about?
Because the last time we saw him was when he was in the ring with Renee. So I'll always wonder about that now.
Fucking Renee. God damn. I hope. Yeah, but wasn't AJ in the ring too?
And AJ was gone for like a week or two, was he not?
Yeah, a week maybe. AJ's been around. I don't think Daniel Bryan has coronavirus. And how dare you spread that rumor about him? How dare you even suggest it, Johnny North? That's Daniel Bryan we're talking about. He's the greatest man in professional wrestling. How dare you? He's not on this pay-per-view. One of the reasons why this pay-per-view sucks. Daniel Bryan's not on it. AJ Styles is not on it. Big Show's not on it. Rey Mysterio's on it, though. I love Rey Mysterio. Who else do I like on this pay-per-view? Bayley, Asuka, Sasha, Nikki. The women. They're all good. Those should be good matches. Asuka and Sasha should be excellent. I think Sasha's going to win. You think Asuka's going to win? It's going to be fun to watch with you on the watch-along. Bayley and Nikki, I think it's going to be a really good match. I like them both a lot. I think Bayley's going to win. You've got Nikki. That's going to be fun. The Wyatt Swamp fight is going to be a total clusterfuck. We'll make fun of that. That'll be terrible. We both have Bray Wyatt winning because it's a non-title match for the Universal Champion. Rey Mysterio taking on Seth Rollins in an eye for an eye. We think that Raimundo Mysterio will have his eye removed from Kobe Lopez. Mr. Lynch expecting a baby himself. When will Seth get off TV? Get off TV now, Seth. Start your paternity early, man. Maybe that's how they write Seth off. You know, you fucking remove his eye and then he goes to be with Becky. At some point, he's going to get off the road. I guess it's a little early, but like, he's not on the road, you know, so he's just in Florida. So it's not like they probably live in Florida, so he could go home every night. But is it safe to go home every night to a pregnant wife when you've been around a bunch of people during a pandemic? I don't know. Apollo Crews taking on MVP Montel Vontavious Porter. I don't think they call him that anymore, right? I don't think anybody has referred to him as Montel Vontavious.
I think the ring announcer does, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah? Okay.
Pretty sure.
Apollo defending the U.S. title against the former champion MVP. Why is MVP getting this match and not Bobby Lashley?
Well, MVP is a great guy cutting promos. That's why he can talk a good talk, and like he kind of sold the match pretty much. Where Bobby's good at wrestling, but in terms of talking, he's nowhere as good as MVP. So, and I think they want Apollo to have a decent reign as U.S. champion, and I think Bobby would end that reign. So that's why we're getting MVP. So Apollo gets a nice win.
But like, isn't MVP basically Bobby's manager?
Tag partner, manager, all the same thing.
Okay. I don't know. I know MVP beat Apollo, right? Like a couple weeks ago on Raw, so that's why we're having the match, but it's like, come on. I don't really care about this one. I think Apollo definitely wins. New Day defending against Cesaro and Shinsuke. This could be a sleeper pick for match of the night here. Tag team tables match. I think it's one table breaks and everybody loses, right? It's not like you got to put both guys through a table, although they probably will to make it a nice finish, which will make it extra fake. You know what I mean?
I love, double tables, but yeah, they rarely do that. It's usually just one table, and they'll just play with the whole, like, oh, table there, not set up, falls down, whatever. They'll do a lot of that, I think. I think New Day is still going to win this match, but yeah, hopefully it's really good. I expect this will probably be the opening match.
I'm a big fan of all four of these guys, Big E, Kofi, Cesaro, Shinsuke, all tremendous wrestlers, all future Hall of Famers. As far as I'm concerned, they're all going into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Hopefully this doesn't make the kickoff, because I don't think they've announced the kickoff match yet. Hopefully this isn't kickoff, because it's better than that.
Yeah, it definitely is. Hopefully it gets its due. I think we see new champions.
Wow. Okay, I'm not seeing that either. Wow.
I'm going to go with Cesaro and Shinsuke for the win. Although, no, maybe not. That doesn't make sense, right? Because Cesaro and Shinsuke has been getting way too much over on New Day. New Day's going to win the match. I was kind of on the fence with that one. Yeah, they're getting all the over. Cesaro beat Big E on pay-per-view on Smackdown to get the stipulation here for the pay-per-view. They've been beating them a lot. They beat them up. They put them both through a table a couple weeks ago. Yeah, New Day's got to get revenge, right? I think you're right about this one. I got New Day retaining. On second thought, I'm going with the New Day, baby. When's Woods coming back? It doesn't feel the same without Xavier Woods. I like to see New Day in full force.
Yeah, but do they really need him back right now? Because you only need two guys to defend the tag titles, so you don't really need him.
Yeah, but it's better when you can have three guys defending the tag titles and you can change up the tag teams. You could have Big E and Woods. You could have Woods and Kofi. You could have Kofi and Big E, like what we're having, but like switching it up is a lot of fun. I like when the New Day are tag team champions and it's a three-man group and you never know who's going to defend the titles. I think it's more fun. Xavier Woods, he's an element to the New Day that they need. It's still good. It's still good, but it's not as good. It's like, I'm doing Ringside Report MMA on Thursday night with AJ. Fred's not there. Fred just welcomed a new baby, little Alfred Garcia, into the world. So Fred's taking some weeks off. And the show's still good, but it's not as good because we need Freddie. He's our Xavier Woods. I would be the Kofi because clearly I'm the leader and the champion. You know, I'm the only guy who's WWE Championship material. Freddie is good with computers, so he's got to be Xavier Woods. And AJ's getting bigger by the day because he's not going to the gym, so he's got to be Big E.
Well, a lot of people think Big E's the next WWE champion, so that's actually a huge push for AJ, actually.
Well, a lot of people think AJ's the new star of the show. But a lot of people are wrong. Big E won't be champion, and AJ is not the star of the show. It's always been Fred.
Oh, I can't wait for Thursday now after he hears this.
He won't hear this. AJ doesn't get this far into Wrestling Uncensored. AJ doesn't really understand wrestling. AJ knows about Manscaped, though. He knows about going to manscaped.com, using that promo code Ringside20. When you use the promo code, you get 20% off your order, plus free shipping. It's a tremendous deal. You support the Ringside Report Network. You support Wrestling Uncensored. 500 episodes strong, and we would not be here without your support and without the support of our great sponsors, manscaped.com. Use that promo code Ringside20 for 20% off, plus free shipping on your order. They've got the Lawnmower 3.0 now available in Canada. Go buy it. Do yourself a favor. Get Manscaped. It's hot outside. You want to be sleek and cool and looking good in all the areas? Your ball areas? You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about your dick and balls. You want that shit to look nice. And my dick and balls look fantastic. So do Johnny's because of Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code Ringside20 and get free shipping and 20% off your order. Also, go to Stitcher Premium. Go to Stitcher.com/premium for Stitcher Premium. They have over 100,000 podcasts. You can listen to them on all your devices. They have comedy specials, Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, so much on Stitcher Premium. Go to Stitcher.com/premium. Use that promo code Ringside for a free month when you sign up. Stitcher.com/premium, promo code Ringside. And also, check out our friends over at IPVanish. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net to sign up. You need to be safe when you're on the internet. Don't get hacked. Keep your devices safe. Go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. Sign up for IPVanish today. Check out Johnny North at North Genesis on Twitter, at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram. Check me out at Dave Simon MMA. And don't forget the UFC. No, not UFC. What am I talking about? UFC is coming up later. WWE Extreme Rules. Goddamn, man. I'm too busy with all this Extreme Rules and UFC and all this stuff. I'm getting lost in the sauce. All right. WWE Extreme Rules, the horror show. We will be watching it live with you, 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, ringsidereport.net. You can check out the front page for everything that we do. 7 p.m. Sunday night, WWE Extreme Rules, the horror show live watch-along. Check us out right here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been episode 500 of Wrestling Uncensored. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.